Good day. Welcome to the garden again. I'm glad to see you here. As you can see, I've been fixing the garden up a little bit. I've got a new bookshelf that I built and got together this weekend, and I have a candle there that's burning right there. If you would pray for a friend of mine that his nickname is Master Commander. He is suffering from a re-diagnosis of a serious disease. All the good light you can send to the Master Commander, I would really appreciate it. He's a dear, dear man, and he doesn't deserve what his body's doing to him right now, but he's gotten past it one time. We're hoping to do it again. Anyway, thank you for coming to my channel today. I want to thank everyone who's liked and subscribed. I like the people who have written to me about various and sundry things and what they would like to see. I'm starting to work on some of the crystals people have asked me to do a little more research on. I'm also going to do a few more readings. Some people have asked to see how you read certain things or how you read certain ways. And I'm also going to do a little bit more about comparing one sort of deck to another, so that you can see that, because I know I've had a lot of people interested in these astrology cards. They're in the description below, and they are a wonderful way to learn houses, signs, and planets, and you can kind of move them around. And if you're more used to cards than you are used to seeing the big wheel of the zodiac, it can be helpful in teaching you some keywords and learning a little bit more about it. So anyway, today we're doing the number 8. And the number 8 is absolutely great. It is absolutely a great number. It means abundance and prosperity. That's what it means in the angel things. It means if you look at an 8, it's the endless loop, like the sign of infinity. So it's the endless loop and signifying the infinite flow of money, time, ideas, and whatever else you require. And if you remember, if you were here at the beginning of the year when I said pick your word for the year, my year's word is flow. And I tell you what, if the flow's just moving me right along, and as much as it throws at me, I seem to be able to take care of. I'm finishing up a bunch of grids this week. I'm handling a bunch of other things we're working on. I'm doing my shows with y'all, building new things, getting new stuff in my office, getting my office finally organized. Really, if you could see beyond what this camera looks at, you'd understand it's not organized. But we're getting there, and we will get there, and we are in the flow. We are in the 8. We are in the abundance. In sacred geometry, 8 is the sign of manifesting. When I build an 8 into a grid, it means that this is a grid for manifesting, bringing in, making something, taking something from the thought realm into the reality, into the real touchy-feely world where you can touch it and see it. It's also ongoing and organized and practical. 8s are very practical numbers. And now we're going to go into the signs of the zodiac. And as you remember, I've told you, think of a big pizza wheel divided into 12 even pieces. And we've eaten the bottom half of the pizza. And we've had 7 yesterday. So 8 today is one more up. And it's a sign I love. It gets a bad rap. But the 8th house is for transformation. If you have a lot of stuff in your 8th house, it means you're going through a lot of transformation, a lot of change. And you'll understand when I get to the sign what that means. But as you know, I've explained how you figure out specific planets and specific houses for you is by knowing your birth time. And then they figure out your ascendant, and then they can figure out where the 8th house was when you were born and what planets were in there. So that's the 8th house. And it is anyone who has a lot of 8th house in them has transformation, has change, has things going into the infinite loop and changing and going and rolling. The sign of the 8th house is Scorpio. And Scorpios get kind of a bad rap, but Scorpio is really a fascinating sign because it's the scorpion, it's the eagle, and it's the phoenix. All 3 of those are considered part of Scorpio. And so that's a lot of transformation to go through. Its energy is very intense. It's masterful and thoughtful, magnetically charming. Oh, I love that part because it's my ascendant and I'm magnetically charming, I think. But also, the part that's on here that's true too, you can be very secretive and very possessive. Um, I won't go into all the details on that, but it's the truth. Anyway, the planet that rules Scorpio is Pluto. That's when you think about Pluto's most at home in Scorpio. And Pluto is the big transformer, transformational sign. Someone pointed out to me Pluto looks like a P with the plow end on the bottom. And when Pluto goes through a sign, it just rakes everything up and brings it to the light. As you can see, it's got the phoenix in it. If you see him, that's a phoenix. And it says the ability to transform, to take a big leap forward, rebirth. So there's a lot of intense energy in the 8th. There's a lot of transformation in the 8th, a lot of abundance, growth, change. That's the 8th as it appears in its simplest form in the zodiac. But then when you get to the 8 in Tarot, it is this card. It's Strength. And Strength is the lady and the lion. And you see the infinity symbol above the two of them. And what this card has always meant to me is it's our gentler nature fighting off the things we're most afraid of. You know, she doesn't probably didn't want to sit next to a lion, but she can because she's mastered her fears. So that's Strength. And Strength is the major arcana. And it follows the Chariot. So if you get the balance you get from the Chariot, then you can move on and have the Strength from the Lady and the Lion. But then when you get into the minor arcana, remember the sign about 8 is change, transformation. Well, this card is the 8 of Cups. And this is what I always call the I'm out of here card. You see, he's taken one of the cups from all the stuff he's learned, and he's carrying it up the mountain and out of there. That's his way out. And he's looking forward to doing that. And it's a time when you've decided, I've got too much baggage. I'm going to ditch stuff. I'm going to go on. I'm going to take what I need to know and move on. It's change. Now, the 8 of Swords is someone in prison. But as I say, all those swords, you put those swords in the snow, you can pull them out. And when you really decide you don't want to deal with those stresses and pressures anymore, and you really want change, you will get rid of them and you will move on. And in the more traditional picture of the 8 of Swords, she's loosely bound. You can see if you look at the picture, she can undo her hands. She could get out of being surrounded by those swords. It's a matter of choice. When does she want to move on? When does she want to make the change? And the 8 of Wands is communication and transformation. And a lot of times when I get this card, I'll look at someone and I'll say, are you taking a trip? And they've been planning a trip this last year, not too many of these, but it also means communication and a lot of information and data coming towards you. If it's in certain ways, that's what it can mean. And it means change, movement, information you gather and use. And then this is a nice card, the 8 of Pentacles. And this is the skilled craftsman. When someone has this, they've learned, they know how to take things and take it from one form and move it into another and benefit from it. That's what all those coins are that are hanging up behind them. I like this representation of him, but it means you've learned how to use the elements you have around you and you're moving on and you're going forward. So, numerology. When you get to the 8, it's when I tell people when you're going to put a quick little note next to the number 8, if you're looking at someone's numerology, it's money and power. It's your money power year. And there's a funny thing about numerology. If you do your numerology and you happen to be missing a number, when you look at all the numbers that make up your name and you're missing one, the one I was missing was money and power. And they say when you have a deficit, you have to work harder to learn how to understand that part of your life. Or you misused it in the past And that's one of your karmic things that you need to handle. We'll go over how to do that one day in one of my sessions. It's a lot of fun to do that. But it means control, achievement, executive thinking, coin of the realm. It's really money. It's just money and power, just like at the beginning. It's abundance. It's abundance in the angel numbers. It's manifesting in sacred geometry. It's the house of transition of all parts of your life when you get into the zodiac. And Scorpio people, I know Scorpios get a bad rep, but other than the fact it's my ascendant, yeah, they can be very changeable, but they push you to change too. And they also can be very thoughtful, and they can help you resurrect the other part of yourself you never even knew you had. Then in the tarot, the lead-in card in the major arcana is strength, and then each of the cards, strength of emotions to choose the thing you need to do next, strength of stress to get yourself out of a stressful situation, strength of the wands to filter through all that information and come up with what you really need to have, or the Eight of Pentacles, taking what you have and manifesting it beautifully, and then ending in the numerology of money and power. The stone for the life path of 8 is citrine, the merchant stone, the one that attracts money and power. Of course it would. It's in the 8s. So I hope you learned something from this, and I hope you can kind of see how these things relate and how each one of them has its own little flavor, its own little difference. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow when I'm going to do 9, 10, 11, and 12 in the zodiac, and 9 in the other elements, and I talk about sort of wrapping up the numbers, because in tarot we end with 10, but 10 really means, I'm going to do 9 and 10 tomorrow. 10 really means you're at the end and you've got a new beginning, and that's what 10s are about. I will look forward to seeing you then, and have a good evening. Bye-bye.